Look, I honestly believe that our natural state is to succeed, is to live the life of our dreams, and to actually make everything that we want possible. Because as a kid, you have no limits. A child's imagination is limitless, there's no boundaries. A child will think of things outside the box, it'll come up with ideas and solutions and ways of seeing the world. I mean, if you ever watch kids interact, and I don't have the privilege of seeing kids interact on a daily basis or all the time. So whenever I see them and they start talking and they have like these imaginary things and they give each other characters that they play, and it's like, wow, like I am fascinated because there is literally no limits to a child's imagination. And slowly, as they get bogged down by the system, they get start put into a box of, no, you have to think like this. No, you have to be this way. You have to like follow these guidelines to be a proper human beings. No, you can't be loud. No, you can't speak up. No, be stay in your place, stay in your lane, and go through the conveyor belt down where we press you down so you fit inside of society's rules. So, and then you end up a confused adult, right? Because you say, what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened? Like, why am I out of am I in my 20s and I don't know how to feel alive? I don't know how to just. And so, most of us are looking for a way to get back to that child state where we can just see beauty and see everything as like in the see everything in the light of innocence and naiveness, right? Because when you're there, you become a sponge and you become a student of life, and all a kid wants to do is learn and tinker and play and be creative, and create. And so the system is what makes us not want to learn, because you have to learn in a specific way, and we go through life, and also our life experiences form us to avoid certain things. And so we have to learn to get back to that childlike state. And how do we do it? How do we get back to that childlike state where everything is just filled with fascination and wonder and creativity? How do we do that? And I can say from my personal experience, you have to heal in order to go back to the place where I was, or like my true core self. If you are your true core self, you are your inner child. And for that to come out, it already exists inside of you. But there's layers and layers of trauma and experiences and conditional societal conditions, and that all pressed it down and suppressed it and told you and programmed you in a way to don't pay attention to that part of you. Just follow the law, follow the rules, stay in your lane. And we have to think and be aware, because if we remain acceptant of the conditions of society and we don't question them, then there's no way for us to go back and change, right? And so, in order to actually make the change, right, in society, we all have to change as individuals. So, in order to change as an individual, you have to heal. And what does healing mean? It means removing the layers, right, And then you become your natural self, your vibrant natural self that all human beings have. We are all naturally vibrant and creative. And it's the things that were stacked on top of that that shut off the light that is supposed to shine through. So how do we do it? Well, we have to observe and we have to identify what made us like that in the first place. And so I can say one of the biggest things for me is that I carried a large amount of self-judgment that interfered with all my relationships. And it's not until really now at this stage of my life where I feel like I need to speak up about it to continue my healing, right? And continue. So I'm just peeling off these layers now and I need to be completely vulnerable. But it was an extremely painful process. Even this is uncomfortable, but I feel the momentum and it's helping me so much to speak about my own experiences. And so I carried this self-judgment all my life, and it started with the relationship with my dad, and then in school that transmutated in me seeking approval from others, and me not being I couldn't fully be myself because I never felt fully accepted. And that came through in different ways. And it wasn't until I started analyzing my behavior and where all that was coming from until then. And I feel like, this whole year I've been like breaking out of all that just by meditating, being self-aware of what the root cause of all this. And it doesn't really matter where it came from, to be honest. It doesn't matter where the trauma came from. All that matters is that you identify it and that you identify the core belief. And my core belief was that I wasn't enough. I felt like I wasn't enough. I felt like I wasn't enough to be your friend. And so that came off as aloofness. It came off as putting on a front. It came off as me overcompensating or undercompensating, right? Certain situations, and it was never genuine and was never congruent with who I was. And people perceive that. People will perceive it. And they'll perceive it in different ways, as either cocky or as this guy doesn't care to speak to me, like, whatever. And can come off as rude. And it was the last bit of my intention to ever make anybody feel that way, because I genuinely want to be everyone's friend. But it was my problem. And as I started removing that, my natural self started coming out, because I fully accept myself now. I don't need you to accept me anymore. I don't desire that. And guess what happens? Naturally, we reach the state of balance and harmony in that area of our lives, in that area of my life. And now I feel like I can genuinely be someone's friend. I can tell somebody, yo, I love you, man. And it won't be a needy, I love you. Do you love me? It's not. It's like, I love you, dude. I love my friends. I love my girlfriend. And now I can just give that love because I learned to love myself. And it's not like I learned to love myself. Yeah, let me rephrase that. You don't learn to love yourself. You remember to love yourself, because you peel back and you remove and you throw that shit away, that garbage that was put on you. And to be honest with you, it was the biggest gift. It was the biggest gift ever to have been dealt those cards, because it led me down a path of self-awareness and really, really being conscious of the things that hold me back, and I've learned so much about myself and who I am. And it was painful, but the one thing that I would advise anyone if they're struggling with a core belief, like why do I think this about myself and I cannot get rid of it, the one thing is just don't be afraid of the truth. Take responsibility for the truth, because once you see it, it could bring up a anxiety, like, oh, and you resist it. But it's not until you really face it and you say, that's who I am right now, because that's the reality that I have to face, and that's what I have to fix. And it's not until you actually face it and you digest it and you really allow yourself to just feel that pain and forgive yourself and forgive everybody, and you just let it simmer and allow it to live inside of you without resisting it. Just let the pain live as long as it needs to. And then when you feel the resistance again come up, just breathe. Just breathe and breathe and observe it and watch it. Don't get involved into it. Observe and watch the emotion arise, and let it go. And the act of observing and accepting and forgiving, and you continue that cycle over and over again by fully accepting the situation, you'll heal. And it's the only way we can change society, and it's the only way we can become the person that we want to become. To be a child. To be a child, to be a grown-up child. That's who we want to be. To enjoy every single moment, enjoy the present, love everybody, make friendships with the people that want to be friends with us, and walk with confidence into any situation because you believe in yourself. Yeah. And being vulnerable has helped me so much, and that's why I'm making these videos. So, I love you, whoever's watching this. I appreciate the shit out of you, man, or girl. Wish you a beautiful weekend and an upcoming next week. We're moving into the fall. What the fuck? This is insane. Damn. Let's gain momentum into the new year. It's crazy, but in a way we kind of have to start thinking about it, man. What's going to happen in 2022? Anyways, I'm rambling on. Have a beautiful weekend, my friends. New video every single day. Like and subscribe.